So, welcome to our worked example video for the force spring constant extension equation in the arrangement, trying to calculate the spring constant of a spring using force and extension. So, if you take our first question, find the spring constant of a spring which extends 0.3 meters when a force of 552.9 newtons acts on it. So, we take our equation, spring constant equals force divided by extension. Have a look at our force. Our force is 552.9 newtons. And as we know, force is measured in newtons, so we know that that's correct. So we don't need to do any converting to that. So it becomes 552.9. We know that our extension needs to be in meters. As you can see here, our extension is already in meters, so there's no need to do any converting of it there. So it becomes 552.9 divided by 0.3. So if you were to plug that into a calculator, you end up with 552.9 divided by 0.3 gives you 1,843. So 1,843, and our unit of measure, because it's spring constant, is Newton meters. Then, if we look at a second worked example, where we might have to think about converting the units. So, find the spring constant of spring, which extends 7.7 kilometers with a force of 950 kilonewtons acts on it. So we know that this is not in newtons and it's not in meters. We need to convert back to these. Now, for both of these, if we're converting back, we have to times them by 1,000 to turn them into meters and to turn them into newtons. So, if we take 7.7, we times it by 1,000, it becomes 7,700 meters. And if we take 950 and we times it by 1,000, 950 times 1,000 becomes 950,000 newtons. Now we've got our quantities in our correct units, so all we have to do is plug our values into the equation. So we know that we've got 950,000, we've got 7,700 meter extension. So if we take those two numbers and then simply divide them, we end up with 123.38 Newton meters, because our unit is Newton meters for spring constant. So, two worked examples on how to use spring constant equals force divided by extension.